got my Uppipe. These are the tacks that I did the other day. Obviously they're more than tacks. It's pretty solid. So I am going to weld it completely right now. So this is a cool little thing I put together last summer when I built the tube fenders for my Forester, for my lifted Forester. I didn't want to worry about the crappy welds from a flux core welder, so I went and bought gas and built my own gas setup for this little welder. So there's a hole drilled right here in the bottom of that, and this pipe just goes right in like that. And usually I zip tie it on, but since I'm only going to be welding tonight, I'm just going to tape it on. Anyway, that goes in right there. And now I'm just going to wrap up some duct tape around there just to keep that there for right now, and then some duct tape around the stinger. Alright? Now this guy just comes back here to this regulator, and it's going to plug right into my bottle. So I have it set up just like this, with the trigger, I guess the line out of the way, and it's rigged up over there. I have enough leeway with my 2 quarts, and then over here I have the bottle open. Obviously I don't have that much gas left. So the one thing that's not that great about this setup is I don't have control over gas on the trigger. So basically what I do is just turn on my gas and just start welding. And then when I'm done welding, I turn off the gas. So it wastes a lot of gas, but I also get some pretty dang good welds with such a little cheap welder. So there's trade-offs, and with how infrequently I pull out the gas, it's kind of worth it. So we're going to do that. I'm actually going to pull this out here so that it's closer to me. It's over here, so that I can just reach back and turn it off when I'm pausing in my welds. So the other thing I did, which I think is pretty important in this case to get some good welds, is I pulled out what used to be a braided wire wheel on my grinder. So that did a pretty stellar job of getting rid of all the slag and the oxidation, and getting rid of a ton of the little burrs that were stuck on there. Clean off my mask so I can see all right. And turn on my gas. Here we go. I'm going to call that good-ish. So I'm really happy with the way that the welder is acting right now. It has a pretty short duty cycle, so that's about as long as you can weld at one time, and then you got to give it time with it on to cool down before you weld again. Make sure you understand duty cycles when you're welding with a little welder like this, because that's the biggest difference between Harbor Freight welders and other welders. Is Harbor Freight welders have really short duty cycles. If you keep welding past the duty cycle, you're going to burn it up and it's going to be garbage. So you got to give it time to rest. It's really hot, but I'm kind of happy about that because that means I got pretty good penetration. So this looks kind of crappy still, but I'm pretty happy with it overall. I can see that I burned through in some of the parts on the inside, which is good. It means I got really good penetration throughout. But I had it turned up pretty dang hot because of this really thick flange. It needs to be pretty hot so that it can have good... Wow, that's hot. I have a hole in this glove. Wow, didn't know that. Now I do. Okay, anyway, so now I'm gonna come in and see if I can weld up this stuff. Tube is really hot. I'm going to take that as a very good sign. So yeah, there we go. That's the first part of the build. This is part of the project that I knew would take a lot of work. Obviously, I'm not mounting the turbo in the stock location. The way Subaru mounts the turbo from the factory is really a pretty nice little package down in there right up next to the back of the engine. I don't have space for it in my engine bay, and so I knew that was going to be a hassle, designing and fitting the turbo where I knew it could function. So now that this is out of the way, I can bolt it up in there and finish the two uppipe supports, and then I can make my downpipe. I'm really excited for that because once that's done, there's only small plumbing left to plumb the turbo in, and that's it. Okay, so I made this little template just out of cardboard. That's about how I'm going to run the brace. I might do it this way, but probably this way. That little cutout's there because I was going to see if it would work that way, but it's not. So we're going to do like that. Cut right there. Like that. That I'm gonna sit in like that on it. So obviously I need to take out a little chunk right in there so that I can get it in there in that weld. There we go. I do need to come in here and knock some of this down. I'm going to do that just with a grinding wheel. Smooth this out. Alright, that's just tack. But I'm going to pull out my gas. Alright, there we go. I like it. That should give it a little extra support up there. So now I'm just going to let that cool off all by itself. And then go take apart the car so I can start on the downpipe.